actually has been some changes made, so it's not exactly the same from what you might have seen. That's our building in Billings. That's our main office. We moved into that office not too long ago. About a year, hasn't it been, Josh? About a year?
Year ago November.
Yeah, a year ago November. Very, very nice facility. It puts us on the cutting edge, allows us to make things a lot easier than perhaps it might have been in the past, in terms of being able to buy more products, store more products, things like that. Our service department, we kind of caught a little bit on service and how that works. This happens to be a service area of ours. That happens to be Corey, who is working on a piece of equipment right now. I head back from Missoula to Billings once every other month for sales meetings, and so oftentimes we'll try to schedule things to bring it back at that time, where Josh or Adam or someone's coming out to work with me, and then going back, we'll send it back with them. Otherwise, they also are available to come out and work right at your facility, as well as one of our manufacturer's tenant will actually has a rep that will actually come right to your facility as well. So it doesn't matter that we're in Billings. If you buy a piece of equipment from us, you're going to get taken care of. Roger, you had a couple of Kybacks that we worked on, and did you get them back fairly quick?
No, I never got them back.
No, I got it right away. That's good.
This is Lou, our service manager, who is a great help over the phone. He does a lot of work with customers right over the phone. He'll even send, if you got a maintenance guy or you're pretty savvy with equipment, he'll actually send you the parts, and he'll actually talk you through putting it right in the machine yourself if you don't want to have to pay for labor, if your budget's a little constricted. He's really, really great about helping out with that.
I just had a customer call about 15 minutes ago regarding a scrubber they were having a little bit of trouble with. Weren't sure what it was. I'm not sure what it was. Gave them the 1-800 number. They're probably on the phone with Lou right now, trying to get it figured out on the phone.
And this is our warehouse back here to give you an idea. That's Ron, our operations manager. If you've been doing a business in Kirko a long time, you probably know Ron pretty well. He's about 5'9", so that gives you an idea of how big our warehouse actually is, and the amount of storage we can have in there. This is actually some pictures of the education that you're kind of at today. There's a picture actually of Roger right here.
I don't remember signing or reading.
That's all right. And I got a picture of some custodial closets, and I've taken pictures of, because I can come in as a salesman and I can say, anything I want to a principal or to a superintendent or to a head custodian, and I'm a salesman, so oh yeah, right, whatever. So I go into schools and I take pictures of everything, and I always keep it anonymous. I don't say who they're from or what school they're at, but this is a picture of a custodial closet. Now imagine being a substitute custodian and walking into this wondering how you're going to clean. Well, I got some Clorox there. At least it says it's Clorox in black marker, but it's kind of orange, and I don't know, Clorox isn't orange, is it? I don't know. Then you got some bleach there, and you got a couple other bottles that aren't even labeled, so those are the magic cleaners, I guess.
Coffee.
You just use those. What's that?
It's coffee.
Yeah, there's coffee. Yeah. Then a little bit closer up there, you can kind of get an idea. What's that used for? What is it? Some people might laugh, and then others might say, "Boy, is that nice in my place?" Here's a picture of a school, and I can almost guarantee you that I know the stuff on the left here has been used, but I can almost guarantee you that all the bottles there on the right probably haven't been touched in 2 years. But yet, it's still in the facility. A teacher might go in and grab it, or a substitute custodian might go in and grab it. It could be past its expiration date. Who knows? Back to the kind of the tissue thing. Again, you see a bunch of jugs there, various stuff, and then you see all the toilet tissue. I mean, all that toilet tissue right there is equivalent to probably 2 rolls of toilet tissue that we talked about earlier. There's a custodial cart. That epitomizes efficiency right there. That's the epitome of efficiency. And you see the buckets there, and we'll kind of talk about the buckets a little bit later, but you get an idea of what's going on.
Yeah, you got it.
That was in Roger's school, by the way.
He wanted to take pictures, and I wouldn't let him.
This is a warehouse facility, and this is where Bruce had to leave a little early, but he's the first purchasing director I've ever had come to one of these, which was pretty impressive. And Kim Anderson from Whitefish Schools was the first principal I ever got and the only principal I've got to come to one of these. And after he came to this, he spent $65,000 with Bruco for his facility. To give you an idea of the power that we can kind of bring into a facility. But this happens to be a picture. Now, this picture is actually of a warehouse. They built a new school, this facility, and a lot of this toilet paper and all of the stuff that they have here doesn't even fit in the dispensers that they have in their facility. So you'd think that they would take that stuff out and give it to another school in their district so that they could use it, right? No. The purchasing director bid out again, bought the same stuff they did last year, even though they had all this stuff sitting here, able to use. Now, if that's $1,500 worth of stuff right there that they didn't have to buy, what does that mean for a custodial crew? That means $1,500 that you just lost that you could have used towards a Kaivac or towards a sweeper or towards 3 protein backpack vacuums or, a lot of different things. And so it's important that we have inventories and that we keep those things in check so that we can minimize the inefficiency of our budgets, because budgets are tight and things are constantly changing. And you can see right there, I mean, that's like 9 cases of 96-year-old toilet tissue, and you see how much room it takes up. It takes up a lot of space. Implementing a larger roll system makes it a lot easier. There's another picture. Again, imagine being a substitute walking into that, wondering, what am I gonna use to clean? How am I gonna get this done? And just to give you an idea, I cover from Anaconda to Libby and from Columbia Falls to Darby. I work with 50 schools, 2 universities. So I mean, I work with a lot of schools, and a lot of them are, necessarily just like that, but a lot of them are like this. And it's not your guys' fault. Quite frankly, it's the vendors you're dealing with, because they should have you guys organized and set up and efficient. They shouldn't be selling you 20 cleaners when you need 5. And that's what we'll kind of get into. But again, you see a lot of chemicals and a lot of different things here. And these are all different facilities. There's some wax. It says Prem on it. If it's Prem, I don't know. There's some bottles. One's got a peel with red, one's got a peel with blue. And then here's a picture of Whitefish Schools. The reason why I'm saying it's Whitefish Schools is because this is a facility that I work with in depth. This is the wax on their floor that they use, Tasky Ultra. It's an excellent wax, holds up extremely well. They've had it throughout their facility the whole year, and it looks that good because of something we'll talk about here in a little bit. Here's their custodial closet. Are you seeing any deja vu here? Oh, it looks nice in the Expo, Tom, but in my closet it's not going to look like that. If you walk into their custodial closet today, they've been in there the whole year. That's what it looks like. They've got a whole stack of chemicals on 4 shelves that clean for an entire school year. Right there. Their paper stuff they've got to stock because, I mean, you go through that. But all of their chemicals pretty much stocked up and ready to go for the entire school year. You see they've got recognition up on the framed recognition up there. They've got their MSDS laminated, color-coded. So all their cleaners out, they have all their MSDS right there for them. So if a teacher comes in and says, oh, my kid just swallowed some yellow cleaner, who here could tell me right now what cleaner that is in your facility? A lot of people don't know. Well, right there they know yellow cleaner is MopPack Light, and it's right there, yellow MSDS. So if a kid swallows a yellow cleaner or a red cleaner or a blue cleaner, it's right there. And you can access it. Here's a picture of, we're going to get into the 1610. You got a bunch of 1610 rollers there. You've got the extraction rollers and the daily rollers. You see the wood that's set up on. I went out, bought that, sanded it, stained it, finished it, put it all together, went into the closet, set it all up. On my personal time, my evenings, my weekends, because I wanted them to be organized, because they invested money with me. I'm gonna spend my time working with them. You see all their microfiber paste mops are hung up right below their sink, so they can hang them up, let them air dry. They've got some posters here explaining rule of 1, how to dilute, and kind of just a funny, this is smart, this is dumb poster. Shows different things. There's some of their different pads. You can see the micro contour pads there. You can see some blue pads, some black stripping pads. That shelf system there holds all their wax. If you see that little black thing, that's actually my camera case. I forgot to take it off there before I took the picture. Right behind their door. You don't want a bunch of stuff all over on the floors sticking in here and there. So I put that together so they can hang up all their stuff, and then when the door's open, it hides everything so you don't even see it. It's out of the way. Nice and neat and organized. There's the rule of 1 poster. 1 pack per bottle, 1 pack per bucket, 1 pack per tank. It cannot get any simpler than that. Rule of 1 mixing. That's the safety poster. This is dumb, this is smart, shows him doing different things, reaching in, grabbing into a cam liner, and scissors are sticking in his hands, and all sorts of, just kind of a fun little thing to throw a little training out there. MSDS, it's all color coded, laminated there, and you'll see that here in a little bit. The recognition, we talk about, well, you guys have been talking about grain seal, you're talking about portion pack. Well, what happens if someone comes in and inspects us? They've actually got their grain seal certifications laminated, not laminated, but framed, and hanging up on the wall. Along with the custodial recognition program, talks about Janus. The word janitor was derived from the word Janus in Greek mythology, the keeper of the keys, the custodian of treasures. And so we have a recognition program that coincides with that to improve morale, to make people feel like they're being appreciated for what they're doing. You'd be surprised what little things, can really go a long way. Again, same philosophy there, hanging up all their pads. Here's their custodial card. They've got all their bottles on there. They've got their claws color-coded to match the color of the chemical. They've got their paste mop on there. That's actually been modified a little bit since then, but same concept. See, they have their portion pack distribution tray, which we'll cover a little bit. The bottles. Tells you exactly what's on them. So a substitute custodian comes in and says, well, what cleaner do I use for what? Well, number one, they don't have a lot of options. If you don't have a lot of options, then they're going to take the time to read. You got 50 different bottles up here, they're not going to take the time to read all of them. But if you have 3 bottles up here, and one says germicidal detergent for cleaning tables, mirrors, stainless steel, bathroom fixtures, and other general cleaning, they're going to know what that's used for. Also, it has fill and use instructions on the back, so they know how to fill it correctly. You've got your scrub pack here for cleaning and degreasing shower walls, bathtubs, sinks, baseboards, vinyl furniture, wall spotting, and other soiled surfaces and equipment. Fill and use instructions on the back. The chemical's green, the cloth is green, the MSDS is green. The packs that the chemical comes in are green. Glass pack. For glass, mirrors, stainless steel, and other light cleaning applications. Right on the back it gives you fill and use instructions. The cloth is blue, the chemical is blue, the MSDS is blue. Bowl pack. Purple. You get the picture. Probably got it a couple times a little while ago, right? You've got your 5-gallon jug here getting into the paste mop. Talking about how the microfiber technology works, how it can save you money. Right now you're looking at using a mop bucket. So you've got a mop bucket right now, and you're filling that up with 2 to 4 ounces of cleaner
Per gallon.
per gallon. Set this up right here. Hit you with that. So you got your mop, and you got your bucket. Then you got whatever cleaner you're using. Who knows what it is? So it's kind of up to you guys. Then you got your paste mop. Now, you got this right here. It takes about 2 ounces per gallon. You fill it up to 4 gallons. That's 8 ounces of cleaner. How many times does the average person change their mop bucket? A day. Billie Jean, how many times do you change your mop bucket in a shift?
4 times.
4 times, okay. Is 4 pretty average? I know in hospitals it might be more. Anywhere from 3 to 6, 4 would be a good average. So if you've got, how many custodians do you have just in your building?
I'm the day crew, and then there's 3 at night.
There's 3 at night, and everybody's using a mop bucket, right?
Yep.
Yep. And then how many do you have throughout your whole school district? Probably about 15 to 20, I would imagine, right? Throughout all the schools?
Custodians? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've got 15 to 20 custodians changing their mop water 4 times a day, at 8 ounces per, that's 32 ounces per person times 20. That's about 5 gallons of cleaner a night that you are filling up, dumping down the drain, and using 5 gallons a night. One day. Imagine a whole school year. That's a lot of cleaner. Well, the other problem with that is you take the time to go fill this up, you get it all filled up, it looks all nice, it smells good, you go to your floor, you mop a little bit on your floor, you put it in here, you wring it out, you put it back on your floor. Now what's just happened? You've just taken dirt from the floor, put it into your water. potentially affecting the dilution ratio of your chemical, affecting the cleaning ability of it, and now you're moving dirty water around the floor. You're just arranging the dirt. That's all you're doing. You're not picking it up. And an easy way to test that is to go mop the floor and take a white cloth and wipe it across the floor and see what you get. It's going to be dirty every time. Did that prove to be true in the thing that we just did with you guys not too long ago at the Kalispell Regional Medical Center? Absolutely. Now also, how much does this thing weigh? Fully loaded. Who likes swinging one of these? Does it hurt your back, Billie Jean?
No.
Doesn't hurt your back at all? Never had a problem, huh?
Never had a problem.
You know, it can weigh, it can weigh 12 to 15 pounds swinging one of these around all day. Well, assuming that these clean exactly the same, let's just take a little look at, let's actually set this right here, so it's not sliding all over the place on me. And let's just grab a typical mop like this. There's a lot of different ways to mop. This happens to be a light duty unit here. Doesn't have any type of way to dispense chemical, but there's a few different ways that you can use to clean. One happens to be Bozeman Deaconess Hospital. How they do it is they have a bunch of pads. They fill their mop bucket up once. They throw all their pads inside their mop bucket, and then they wring out 5 to 10 at a time. They throw one on the floor. They go through and clean a room. They take the pad off. They throw it in their dirty bag. They grab a new pad, throw it on the floor, clean their next room. The benefit there is you have filled up the bucket once, but you don't have to go back and dump, fill, 4 times a day. So you are still dumping some chemical down the drain, but it's a lot less, and you're saving yourself a lot of time. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it, if you're in a smaller area, is to take a spray bottle. Spray your floor down. Use it with a spray bottle. If you're in a real small little confined areas, that's an option. Now, one thing to ask is, assuming that these clean the same, can you wash a wall with this? Does anybody wash a wall with it? No. Does anybody wash a ceiling with it? No. Does anyone see the ability to wash a wall with this? Or a ceiling? Telescoping? So you can take it up like so. Works happens to be real sticky, but you can put it right up there. Put it right up here. You got light fixtures. You can clean it across the top of the lights with them. So you can. It's a very versatile tool. How much does these mop sticks cost? Probably anywhere from 10 to 15 bucks. How much does this handle cost? 20 bucks. So it's not a significant difference in price. And then also your pads. How much do these cost? Anywhere from $6 to $10. It all depends on what size. How much do these cost? Again, about $6. But guess what? You can wash these about 500 times. Who here thinks you can wash a regular cotton mop 500 times?
Quite a long time.
What's that?
I got some of my mops that they're about 3 years old now, and they look like me.
Uh-huh.
And I use them
All right.
every week.
Well, I'd like to send those to a lab and have them inspected for bacteria. All right. Who here has got mops that they've washed them 20 times and they smell like someone died?
We got some at the
That happens?
I don't think
That happens? Okay. So, some people take better care of their stuff than others, but for the most part, if you can create an environment where they can't mess up and they can't make a mistake, that's all the better, because then you're making it uniform. So that's one option. Well, now with this here, does this ever get dirty, spraying it onto the floor? No. Does it ever have to be dumped down the drain?
Yes.
This has to be dumped down the drain?
You cannot keep it over 24 hours. At the hospital, we have to dump we're supposed to dump our solution. With Virex, we use the Virex 256.
Uh-huh.
You're not supposed to really keep them over 24 hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a disinfectant.
It's a disinfectant, okay. And you don't use a 32-ounce bottle in a day?
No.
No?
I
Okay.
mean, I
We
don't.
must-
Okay.
People on the floor might in the rooms.
Okay.
I don't do units.
Okay. That's fine. Who else besides JoJo actually dumps these down the drain? Okay, so majority of schools, that's a hospital, so it's a special situation. Most schools don't have to dump their spray bottles down the drain. Now, the benefit of this is you don't have to dump it down the drain, except for maybe in 1.5% of 100 of the applications that it can be used for. Okay? So you're spraying this onto the floor. You can use this whole product without having to dump it down the drain. Can you continually use your mop water without having to dump it down the drain? No, it has to be dumped down the drain, right? So that's an advantage of having this product available. Now, you take it a next step, boy, you know, you think about it, it sure would be nice to not have to have a spray bottle that you're constantly spraying. And that's what the Pace Mop offers. It offers you a tank that can hold 30 ounces of solution, so it's very close to a 32-ounce spray bottle. And the benefit there, as you can see on the picture, is they've got a 5-gallon jug of cleaner, similar to what you see over here. That's right on their cart. So we just talked about 8 ounces of cleaner, 20 custodians, about 5 gallons of cleaner in one day, right? Well, if you've got a Mop Pack Lite, Mop Pack Lite is 1.5 fluid ounces of cleaner. You can take this one pack, it's meant for 4 gallons, but I put it into a 5-gallon jug because it makes it even a little bit weaker, because essentially what you're doing with your floor is you're neutralizing your floor. It's a pH neutral cleaner. You're just cleaning the floor. People don't eat off the floor. People don't do anything where they're touching their hands on the floor for the most part. You know, in a school, you're walking down the hall, you know, they're not walking down the hall with their hands on the floor, you know.
Not in
So,
elementary
you know,
Microfiber also
You know.
allows you to use less.
what's that?
You can use less with microfiber. You don't need as much detergent as you normally would.
Right, right. And so you can use, but 1.5 fluid ounces can fill a 5-gallon jug. Now, does that jug ever have to be dumped down the drain? Because it's a pH neutral cleaner. A pH neutral, not a disinfectant. pH neutral. Does it have to be dumped down the drain? No, doesn't have to be. Because it's staying clean at all times. It gets dispensed from that jug into your mop, from your mop onto your floor. So therefore, you don't have to make a trip back to a custodial closet to do any dumps and refills. You can clean with one 5-gallon jug for usually an average of 5 days, a full week. Most people, it fluctuates. I've heard anywhere from 4 days all the way up to 8-9 days. So it all depends. So I just kind of average it out and say about a week. So one pack of cleaner, that's 1.5 fluid ounces, cleans for an entire week. Does not have to be dumped down the drain at all. Now, from an environmental standpoint, we're not talking about the fact that it's a Green Seal certified cleaner. We're talking about the fact that you're not dumping it down the drain. And you're cleaning more effectively with the microfiber technology. And we'll get into that here just in a second. Now, these are heavy duty. They're built for commercial use. Everyone that I have implemented one of these mops in a facility, I haven't had any problems with them liking it once they've worked with me. If you ask someone if they like microfiber and they say, no, I don't like microfiber, the reason why is because some salesman that doesn't work for Bruco came in and dropped it off and said, hey, I'll come back next week and pick it up. Well, if you take that, if you give that to someone, that's like giving a caveman a computer and say, hey, type up a report for me and I'll come pick it up in a week. Well, when you get back, they probably took their club and beat the living crap out of that computer, and it's probably junk. Because they don't understand it, they get frustrated, I don't like it, let's get it out of here. So you have to actually spend time working with the people to show them that there's a different approach. With the regular mops, it's a totally different way of cleaning. Now, you look at the actual quality, and we'll get back to these in just a second, but I want to show a point here. Give you an idea and a concept of microfiber. Roger, do you use red pads in your school?
Yes.
Yes, that's no big deal, okay. Who uses red pads? How do they clean a floor? Realistically, how do they clean a floor? By abrasion. So, when you're cleaning with this, what's happening is you're actually scraping finish off your floor as you go down the floor, right? So that means you have to strip and recoat that much sooner, right? So if you could do the same thing, if you could clean a floor but not have to take your finish off, that would be a huge benefit, right? Well, what's the other problem with these? If you've got low spots or areas where your grout's lower than the regular tile, how many people have a pad? And if you do, I don't want you to say yes, I want you to talk to me afterwards and we'll market it and we'll be millionaires. How many of you have a pad like this that jumps right down in those grout lines and picks it up out of there for you? Does anyone have a pad like that? You do that? No, you don't. It's just, they skip right over the top, right? Well, with the microfiber contour pad, the pad itself is not abrasive. It's a bunch of small little fibers, so when you're pushing or putting pressure on one part of the pad, the other fibers stay up. So as you're skipping over the floor, the fibers that aren't touching, aren't being pressured by the tile itself, will stay down and get in the grout and pick it up and pull it out. Now, what is an auto scrubber meant to do? An auto scrubber isn't meant to pick up, and these pads aren't meant to pick up and hold all the dirt inside of them and store them. They're just meant to get the dirt off the floor so that the machine can suck it up into the recovery tank. These pads do an excellent job of that. The other benefit to these pads is they're launderable. You can rinse out these red ones 3-4 times, and then they're, flip it over and use the other side, and then they're done. These, you can fold them up, you can throw them in the wash machine and wash them. So one of these pads lasts equivalent to usually 3 to 4 cases of the regular pads. I don't know, you guys, would that be pretty fair?
Pretty accurate. Yep.
Pretty accurate?
One pad is about equivalent to 15
Yeah.
others.
And so the benefit there is, yeah, they're a little bit more expensive, but if they last a lot longer and they do a better job and they don't take finish off the floor, you have to spend less time stripping, less time recoating. That's a lot of labor you just save by just simply buying a pad,
There are many schools, much like the fast chemical we were talking about earlier, where they've only used 1 or 2 cartridges for an entire school year. If they're a smaller district, even less than that. Microfiber pads are much along the same line. You may buy your red or your white pads, and those pads come in a case of 5 normally, and you may go through, on average, 5 to 8 cases of pads. You buy a pack of 4 to 5 of those, depending on how they're packaged, and literally the pads that you use, you may go through 1 pad every quarter. It may even be less than that, depending on the size of your facility. There is a little care involved. You do want to take them off and wash them, but you should be doing that with your current pads now also.
Yep.
What's the difference between?
Now you take a look, another concept.
Abrasive.
Everyone's used a cotton strand dust mop, right? Look at the size of the fibers, fairly large. So when you're going through and you're mopping a floor, dirt's going to get through those bigger fibers. It's not meant to hold all the dirt. What it does is it pushes it. Who here pushes the mop for 20, 30 yards and then leaves a pile and then goes down, keeps going, and at the end they come pick up their piles. That's what most custodians do. Or if you're going in the gym, you'll go a couple passes, you'll leave your pile, you go a couple passes, leave a pile, and then at the end you bring it all over to an area, you pick it up and throw it out, right? Well, the reason why that happens is because this isn't going to just grab and hold all that dirt. So what happens when you shake it out? You just get that big mist of dust and you're coughing and all that stuff's happening, coming up, and then all that's just settling back down right into your environment again. Well, you take a microfiber contour pad, or microfiber microduster, and they're very, very small fibers. And this is actually, I haven't used this is actually a demo. I haven't used it since then, where we actually, in Columbia Falls schools, we actually clean with a mop bucket, and then we actually dusted the floor afterwards with this first, then I followed behind with this. And it's not a significant amount of dirt, but you can actually see, even after we mopped with a mop bucket, the amount of dirt that it picked up. And the concept there is the fibers are a lot finer, so they're going to grab and hold. They're going to fill it up in the front, and as those fibers get filled, they'll slowly move back. The dirt will slowly move back and continue to move back until it's filled up. When it's filled up, with the microfiber, looks like this. Once it gets filled up, you take a vac hose, like a protein backpack with an upholstery tool, and you just suck it clean. Then you can take a hairbrush, brush it out if you want to, hang it up, it's ready to go again. Then you can launder these as often as you want. Usually we'll have people launder them like once a week, once every Friday, something like that. But the benefit there is it's such a smaller fiber that small particulate, the hair, the small things aren't going to get through that. They're not going to get through so that they're staying on the floor. Because if it stays on the floor, what happens is now you've got sandpaper on your floor that the kids are just scraping your finish right off. Same concept. Now, how many use dust mop treatment with their regular cotton strand dusters? Most people do. Right there, you're putting a product. If it's an oil base, you're leaving a little bit of film on the floor, so then the dirt has something to stick to and cling to. If you're using a water base, it's a little bit better, but still, you're still putting something onto the floor that you don't need to. With the microfiber, you don't use any dust mop treatment. You use them dry. So right there, you're eliminating a chemical that you have to buy that, quite frankly, a lot of people are starting to have problems with the different smells. Columbia Falls schools had to stop using dust mop treatment because their teachers were having reactions to the chemical. You're starting to see it more and more. Some of it might be psychological. Some of it might not be. We don't know, but the point is they're getting complaints. And this will eliminate that because you don't have to use any type of product. Same thing with the lamb's wool. Who has one of those lamb's wool or feather dusters where you just watch the dirt move right off the shelf onto the floor? Has anyone seen that happen? Same thing right here. Same concept. It grabs and holds the dirt for you so that you're not actually just moving the dirt from the shelf to the floor, but you're actually picking up and holding the dirt and getting it out of the room. And you take it, you suck it off with a vacuum and reuse it. It's good to go again. Same concept there. Well, kind of the same thing here now with the regular mops. You've got a large cotton mop strand that's fairly large. Now, do you think that that's going to grab a little piece of dirt or hair and just hold it forever? No, it's going to just kind of move it around and push it. Now you take something like that from a large fiber to a bunch of small microfibers, and you think those are going to hold dirt and fine particulate and hair a lot better? Absolutely they are. The smaller, the finer the fiber, the more you're going to be able to grab and hold with it. Now, the difference is, with this, you take it, you put it in your water, you wring it out, you put it back on the floor again. With this, you just, once it's dirty, you throw it in a dirty bag, you throw a new pad down, and you keep going. So you do need to have more of these, but they're washable 500 times, and you can use them a lot longer, and they do a better job of cleaning. And so over the long haul, you're actually saving money because you're going to be using a lot less chemical. You're not going to have to buy these nearly as often, and you're going to be inhibiting the reduction of your fuller finish and things like that, where you have to strip and recoat, which again is a huge labor issue. So the training side of this is, with the normal mop, you go through and you do all your mopping and so on and so forth, and most of the time, a lot of it is procedural. Some people who don't know how to sell microfiber will tell you that you have to dust mop. That's absolutely insane. You don't have to dust mop. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. You can use it in a 2-for-1 step process, because the benefit of this is that ability to just change your pad. With a mop, the reason why you had to dust mop is because you didn't want your water to get completely muddy and dirty in the room. So you had to go get a lot of the dirt out first, then you could mop so your water stayed cleaner. That's the only reason why you dust mopped, is because that wouldn't pick the dirt up out of the room, and you didn't want to have to change your water every room, so you go in and dust mop. That's the only reason why you had to dust mop a classroom or a patient room or wherever you're mopping. Well, with the microfiber, if you go into a room, you can start at the edge of the room, and the one nice thing about this is we talked about not having chemical on it. If you want to wash walls or something, you just take this off and you can use it to wash walls, wash ceilings, do whatever you want. You don't have to have the jug on there. But when you're using it, you go in, you can turn it to the side. So if you're getting under a table, you can turn it all the way as low as you want to. It goes just as low as a mop stick will. They're going to sit at the same level, so it's not like it's all that much more cumbersome than a regular mop stick. Just throw that on the floor there. But you go and you start yourself, you turn it to the side, you can get around all your baseboards. Just turn it to the side, you can get all your baseboards extremely well with the microfiber. Then you come through and you mop in an S pattern, keeping the bottle facing you at all times. Then as needed, you push the button, it dispenses chemical out onto the floor, and you keep mopping, but you continue to mop. Now, why don't you have to dust mop? Because this isn't going to pick up big chunks of rocks, it's not going to pick up paper clips, but it will hold them in front of the mop. So if you're mopping in an S pattern, you're continuing to keep the dirt with you as you go. Just like you're dust mopping, if you need to, you move it to the edge of your door, and you come back and you keep mopping. Then when you get to the edge of your door, you sweep all that stuff up and you throw it in your garbage. But you just eliminated dust mopping for 5 or 10 minutes because you did the 2-for-1 step process. So you moved it all throughout, got it out of the room. Does that make sense to everyone? Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay. Does it seem feasible in your head? Go ahead.
No questions, but you just enlightened my day. I've been using that just as a dry sweeper. I've never thought about putting it in the bucket wet in my rooms, because I go back and it's too heavy with the solution to use it as a sweeper with the solution in it, so I took that off. But then I have the spray bottle, which, for messes inside the room, because I have like pop spills and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But absolutely, you could just use one pad per room.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. Well, and
Never
you're saying
thought
that you
about
think
that.
this is too heavy with the solution.
it
filled?
is to get underneath desks that have the racks and stuff, and it gets in my way.
Okay.
of getting underneath and making it fast.
That's a
And
training
and
issue.
it's too heavy on my wrist, you know, to
Okay.
carry it full, you know, and I was doing half and I just thought, you know, the spray bottle would be, better.
That's a
But,
training, that's a
yeah.
training issue that I think we'd be able to solve there, because in
Yeah.
a lot of the facilities, this is gonna weigh almost identical to what this is gonna weigh, and realistically, you shouldn't have to be lifting the mop should stay on the floor.
No, I've been using this as instead of the dust mop,
Yep,
you know, or the microcloth.
Dry.
Dry.
yeah, and that's okay, yeah.
But,
But
and then I only go in and mop, I only do like spills, but
Mhm.
I only go in and mop once a week
Yeah.
fully with the mop, but that would
Right.
eliminate the mop.
Right, but with this, using this wet, you shouldn't have any problem. This weighs 3.9 pounds fully loaded. So if you've got this setting on the floor and you're holding it like this and you continually keep it on the floor, going through, it's a training issue. And we need to work a
And
little
that
more
would
in
be all
depth
right,
in
no, that would be all right in the hallways, but underneath stuff, it gets in my way,
that. Okay,
you know.
again, I think it's a training issue, because I've gone under a lot of desks, a lot of things like that, and I haven't had any problems.
Okay.
So I truly believe that is
Okay.
a training issue, and I'll work with you on that. Because
He'll
I can
find out,
give you
but I already
references.
tried it and my wrist said no.
Yeah,
But
okay.
you,
Okay, all right, no, that's fair, that's fair.
you know how many desks I got, 300, no.
Yeah, no, I believe you.
Okay.
Are you moving your desks, are you lifting them?
Lifting,
Yep, same thing happened at Columbia Falls, and I spent a day with them, and now they're not lifting any desks.
cool, all right.
So, and actually, it's too bad Larry Rosner left, because that's a big reason why he switched this, because every desk they went to, they'd lift it up, they'd try to mop underneath it, they'd set it down. And we fixed that with just one day of training working with their staff. They're not lifting desks at all anymore. So it's a training issue, and I think we
Cool,
can solve
come
it.
my way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if there are no questions on that, I want to get a little bit into the, running a little short on time, I want to get into a little bit of the portion of why it makes sense to utilize this program with the microfiber mopping technologies. Here's a picture just to give you an idea of our 10 upright vacuums. If you're looking at upright vacuums, they're phenomenal. The battery operated 3610 sweepers. This is all at Whitefish Schools. The 1610, the Ready Space, and the battery operated sweeper that you saw him using. And the T7, rag scrubber with the microfiber pads. That's why their floor looks so nice. They don't burnish at all either, by the way. Here's a custodian who happens to be handicapped. He went through Whitefish School System, he's a sub, and he has a real hard time reading. And so, with the portion pack program, what we actually did is we trained him by color. I worked with him, I said, your red cleaner's for your bathroom, your green cleaner is for your general purpose cleaning, your blue cleaner's for your mirrors, and your yellow cleaner's for your floors. So he knows everything by color. We have people that are Hispanic down in the south that use portion pack. They can't speak English. So their facilities train them by color. There isn't any other chemical program out there that I know that allows that benefit. We haven't seen any. Portion pack is way ahead of the game. There's their Kaizen. They use that for their deep cleaning of their restrooms. So they don't use bowl pack because they use the Kai back. So they don't need a bowl cleaner. They use the Kai back for that. They go in and do a complete cleaning of the restrooms every day. The no-touch towel systems, we kind of covered that. The toilet paper dispenser, sealed and contained. The foam soap, the napkin dispensers, and this is kind of back. Which would you rather dispose of? The gentleman is holding a bunch of packs, which are completely biodegradable. The plastic themselves are completely biodegradable. He's holding that in his hand, or he's holding those gallon jugs. From an environmental standpoint, Portion Pack is not just a Green Seal product, by the way. Glass Pack's Green Seal certified, Scrub Pack's Green Seal certified, Mop Pack Light's Green Seal certified, Bowl Pack's Green Seal certified. Germicide is not Green Seal certified because of the reasons Adam discussed. They won't certify a disinfectant at this time, but it is EPA registered disinfectant. So if you need a disinfectant, it is there for you, but it is not Green Seal certified. But all the other products are. Now, what you might be saying, and then keep in mind, if you use Portion Pack in your facility for more than 2 weeks, and you haven't worked with me, you haven't used Portion Pack. So get it out of your head right now, because a lot of times this cleaner right here, Scrub Pack, is a phenomenal cleaner. But it is not going to compete with a heavy-duty Buell degreaser. But it's also not going to kill you in 30, 40 years either. And that's the big difference. It's not an apples-to-apples comparison. If you're taking a butyl degreaser that you're using right now and comparing it to Scrub Pack, it's not a fair comparison because it's two completely different cleaners. And the butyl degreaser that you're using right now is in years to come no longer even going to be available. In fact, I think that legislation is coming a lot sooner than we think. And so right now, a lot of the chemical manufacturers are trying to get their products green seal certified, so they've got to change the formulations and the dilutions of their products. So the products that you're using right now are actually going to change. They're not going to be the same cleaners they used to be because these chemical manufacturers know that they need to start changing the way their products are formulated to get green seal certified. So you're going to notice a lot of differences in your cleaners. Well, the benefit of Portion Pack as a system is it's already approved. You're ahead of the game. You've got everything laminated, color-coded. You've got everything simplified. And right here, like Adam's talked about a little bit, this one pack, this one quarter case right here, holds over 100 packs. That'll clean for almost an entire school year. And in some smaller schools, in larger schools, it might not. They sell 4 of these in one box. 4 in one box, let's say you've got 4 schools. You can divvy up 1 to each school. And right there cleans for almost, even let's say, just say half a school year. But all it takes up is this much space right here. Now, how much it weighs? It weighs hardly nothing. Imagine what that weighs, and that has to be shipped from Chicago to Montana or from Florida to Montana. If this is shipped from Chicago to Montana, which one do you think is going to use less gas? Which one do you think is going to take up less space? Which one can they ship more of? It's not just the products themselves, it's the way they're manufactured, the way they're distributed, it's the whole facet of the program is why it's the best available, in my opinion. The next picture is accurate dilution. Some people have the bottles and they have the pumps. They got the pump bottles over here. And, one custodian says, 5 pumps works better than 2, and the next custodian says 3 pumps works better than 1. That happens, right? Well, with the Portion Pack system, yeah, you could take 10 packs and put it in a spray bottle if you wanted to, but with training, the way the concept is designed is Portion Pack has 2 different programs. They have a pack per quart system, and then they have a depot pack system. The pack per quart is you put 1 pack in a bottle, 1 pack in a bucket, 1 pack in a tank. The depot pack system is you put 1 pack into your 5-gallon jug, which fills 20 spray bottles. Now, to give you a cost on that, your cost per spray bottle of your glass cleaner is 50 cents. Your cost per bottle of your scrub pack is 80 cents. Your cost per bottle of your germicidal, which is an EPA registered disinfectant, is 15 cents. And your cost per pack of your Mop Pack Light is 90 cents or 4 cents per paste mop fill. There isn't a chemical you're buying right now that's cheaper than that. So what happens when your budget shrinks? Whitefish schools, your student population is going down every year because people are moving in, but they're not bringing kids with them. So what's going to happen is your budget's going to continually shrink. You're going to be confined pretty soon. Equipment's going to be out of the question. Implementing a system like this is going to allow you to save some budget dollars so that you can afford to get a new vacuum when you need it, or you can do those types of things. Distribution. Who here has ever used the old, I like to call it the enemy, the mop bucket over there, and they've had a stain or something, and they've had to go back to their custodial closet to grab a 32-ounce spray bottle to clean up that stain because they, didn't want to forget that it was there. Has anyone ever done that before? Went back to their closet to get a cleaner? Well, that's the nice thing with this here is if you're mopping with the paste, you can actually have your scrub pack, which is an all-purpose cleaner. It pretty much cleans just about anything. You can have it right on hand with you, along with your paste mop. So if you have any problems, you have it right here for you. It's real simple. You can also keep chemical, keep claws right in your pouch. Makes it real easy. The distribution system. If you're looking at implementing this system and you're having a problem with, number one, if you think people are stealing or anything like that, you can actually set this up and you can divvy out, because if you know 1 pack of Mop Pack Light makes 20 of those paste mop bottles, and you know that you can clean for that one, you can clean with this 5-gallon jug for exactly 5 days, well, you know then, if just let's say average there's 4 weeks in a month, you know that 4 packs will clean for a month. So you know right now that what's 90 times 4? $3.60. It costs you $3.60 to clean your floors for a month. You can give that custodian 4 packs. If they come back at the end of the month and they've got 2 packs left, it's a training issue. If someone comes to you 2 weeks too early and says, I'm out of chemical, you know that there might be a training issue. Or maybe something just came up and they had to use a little bit extra cleaner. Or they're stealing it and taking it home. But it gives you that facet of knowing. If you've got a gallon jug with pumps on it, you don't know what's going on. You don't know where it's going. You've also got the safety cutter. It's called the pack cutter. Allows you to cut your packs. It's like a little envelope opener so you don't cut yourself. It's all right in there, so you can set that in there for them, give it to them, and that's their cleaning supplies for a week, or a month, or whatever, however long it takes. So it's completely up to you. Makes it real simple, real organized. Again, talking about the accurate dilution, 1 pack per. Then here's the actual portion pack company itself. That's the co-founder, Marvin Klein. Well, Adam and I actually got the opportunity to go to Chicago and tour the facility. And it's an excellent company. I really like the people that own the company, and that's really another reason why I like selling it, is because of their mentality. It's kind of a group picture. You can see Adam and I up in the top left up there. And then we happen to be at Mike Ditka's restaurant in Chicago, so we all got to take a picture with Mike Ditka. And then I'm special, so I got to take a picture with Mike Ditka and a couple waitresses from the restaurant, which was kind of fun. Adam actually took that picture. And then a little something I found on the internet. Who has a problem with boys standing up and peeing all over the toilets? Does that happen anywhere? You can actually buy this. You can buy this sticker, and it shows them, it shows them where they're supposed to go and how they're supposed to go to the bathroom, right?
Right now where you can get it for Roger.
Makes it pretty easy. Kind of fun. But we'll go ahead and just hit the lights here quick. Showing some different things. You guys say, well, that's that's all dandy and all that, but OSHA never really comes to us or inspects us or anything. Here's actually, I'm not going to say what school it is, but here's actually a final safety order because a school was inspected by OSHA and failed miserably. This school was not working with Bruto, and we have about 8 pages. I actually offered to go in and do a hazard communication program for me, and the purchasing director said they had it under control. They got written up for not having a hazard communication program. They've got bottles with no labels on them, pictures that were in my presentation. All this stuff is all their custodial department, where they got written up for items. You think that's going to happen with this right here? No, it can't. There's no way it can. Everything's pre-labeled, everything's color-coded. All your MSDS, all your safety's all right there for you. And if you think this isn't coming, I put together a book. It's got a table of contents. I can actually put all these articles on a CD for you and send it out to you. But just a few of the articles in here. Executive Order 13101, the actual order that was passed by Bill Clinton. Levy B, what Adam talked about, the benefits of green. The greening of U.S. cities has begun. New York governor signs green cleaning into law. Governor introduces clean and healthy schools legislation. Schools go green in Kentucky. Grammy Zoo reports a successful cleaning switch. D.C. schools maintenance harming students. Estrogens, the new environmental hazard. Is plastic killing us? A chemical controversy. All these articles, green cleaning is on its way. You're not going to avoid it. So the best way to handle it right now is to take an inventory of what you currently have, start depleting that inventory. As those products run out, we can give you the products that we would recommend to replace those products, and you can start phasing it in your buildings. That way you're not taking any chemicals that you currently have paid tax dollars for and dumping them down the drain or, whatever else is going on. But it's allowing you to switch. Because what's going to happen is if legislation happens and your school ignores it, pretty soon you're going to be sitting on a year's supply. You're going to be sitting on a year's supply of cleaner that you can't use. Thousands and thousands of dollar cleaner that you can't use. It's an issue, people, and we need to start moving it out of our buildings.
I'll just make one comment. Some of these things we talked about, like getting rid of the wet mops and some of the other things, Bozeman Deaconess Hospital has done that. They threw out their wet mops. They won't allow them to be used anymore. The only people that can use it in the hospital is floor care, for stripping a floor and so forth. All their wet mops are gone. They've gone completely to flat mopping with microfiber. They've gone completely to portion pack. And they also use some of the other things that we've talked about today as far as Kyvacs and proper matting systems and things like that. But they just did a survey in their building, in their hospital, and medical office buildings which are connected. And they got a 98% satisfaction level from their building occupants. Some of those were patients, some of those were doctors, some of those were office workers, nurses, and so forth. But doing exactly the things, you know, we had a representative from the hospital at our expo that we did 2 days ago in Bozeman, and he said, geez, everything you guys talked about, we're already doing. And so these things do work, I guess, but sometimes and it was the same situation there, it was kind of tough to swallow at first. Change is always difficult, but a 98% satisfaction level is pretty
And to
outstanding.
give you an idea, Columbia Falls Schools, we're working with them, and what they were doing is they had buckets like this on their carts. And what they would do is they take their, kind of the mop bucket thing, and it's funny because after we showed the microfiber presentation, all I had to do was mention it, and it immediately clicked in their head, because what they were doing is they were taking a bunch of their rags, clean rags, they would dip them in their solution, they'd go and clean an area, they'd dip them back in their solution, they'd go and clean an area. So they were just taking dirt from one, moving it in, moving it around another area. And immediately in their heads, they're like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. And so what they were also doing is they would go into a classroom and they'd clean one desk and they'd wipe it off. Well, what you're just doing is, we talked about a little bit tax, time, agitation, chemical, temperature. Let's say this isn't a heavy-duty beetle degreaser, but you know what it is? It's a great cleaner if instead of wiping, cleaning, spraying, and wiping each desk individually, you go to each desk, spray it down, all the way through your desks, then you go back to the desk you started, and you wipe them all clean. Because now what you've just done is you've just allowed yourself 5 or 6 minutes for that chemical to sit on those pencil, pen marks, stains, that if you spray it right on, by the way, this is a great cleaner for pens and pencil marks, even just right off the bat, but if you let it sit for 5 minutes, you're actually allowing that chemical to work, and then you can go back and wipe them clean. So the chemicals work, but it's a training issue. You have to change the way you clean. Sometimes not zone cleaning to team cleaning or anything like that, but just a procedural thing, how you go through your buildings. And I've worked with a lot of schools. And here's some reference letters to kind of wrap up. Marcus Daly Memorial Hospital has purchased all our germicide and portion pad products from Bruco for years. These products have been dependable and user-friendly for all our disinfecting and cleaning needs. Bruco reps have always been helpful and informative on new products and with problem areas. Thomas Tyson, who is our representative for this area, has done a very good job in helping us acquire the new PACE microfiber mopping system for our hospital. Thomas did the presentation to administration, the sale, and the implementation to the housekeeping department for the new mopping technologies. Any problems we have had with the system, he has handled promptly and resolved to our satisfaction. We are very happy with the new mopping system on north and south wings. The floors appear cleaner. We no longer worry about cross-contamination as we use a new mop for every room. Our housekeepers are more productive with less time and energy wasted. The new mopping system has cut our costs dramatically for the daily floor care on these 2 wings. That was from Marcus Daly Hospital. If I gave you one of these packs, I've got reference letters throughout all of them, talking about anything from, we do gym floor service, to Roger wrote a reference letter on our paper towel systems, also from Whitefish Schools, who bought a bunch of products from us. And I do want to read this real quickly because it makes sense. I've had a very good working relationship with Bruco for the past 12 years, and that relationship is based on the level of consistent professionalism of the company, its representatives, and its products and service. We are consistently attending training seminars to learn about the latest in technology when it comes to product and cleaning techniques. Bruco is then there to follow up with personnel in training and assisting us in improving what we do to make our school environment as clean, healthy, and inviting. I am impressed with the innovative ways Bruco has designed the team cleaning concept and incorporated with the use of safe yet effective cleaning products and equipment. Over the years, I've had great working relationships with all of Bruco's field reps, but I have to say I'm very impressed with Thomas Tyson and his highly professional way he presents himself and his company. My staff has been very receptive to suggestions he has given them, and they find him to be honest and sincere in his efforts to help them do a better job. I am committed to continue using the services, products, and training offered to me from Bruco. I am highly recommending them to any school who asks me my opinion. My opinion is Bruco is a complete cleaning organization that is on the cutting edge of offering a complete cleaning package. That's from a high school or a middle school principal. And the difference, as you can see, you can either have that in your school with a guy that wants to sell you 10, 15 products, or you can have this in your school from a guy who wants to save you as much money as you can, so he can then take that savings and put it towards equipment and new innovations that you normally could not afford. The only thing I ask is that you don't take the money you save with me and go spend it with the guy that's going to set you up like that. Take the savings that I've given you and move that into equipment and other things that I can provide for you and to make your job easier. And that's all I ask in return for doing something like this. Because if I'm gonna spend the time and I'm gonna make your job easier, I would ask that you support me in the same regard and do business with me, not take it to somebody else. So, does anybody have any questions on this? Does it make sense to everybody?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you address the microfiber mopping with like in elementary schools, you know, like when you have a puddle of pee this big every night?
Yep, perfect. If you have a puddle of pee
Well,
with
it's not
mop,
perfect. We
what do
don't
you have
like
to do? You have to clean that puddle of pee and then go rinse your mop bucket, right?
Yeah, then I have to clean out my mop bucket.
Yep, you have to
Really
clean it all
good.
out.
Yeah.
Well, you take a dry pad and you wipe up that puddle of pee, you take that pad, you throw it in your dirty bag, you grab a new pad, you get on the floor again, you're ready to go.
That little pad's gonna clean up the thing.
Oh yeah, it holds up,
It may
it holds a
t-
lot
If
of
it's
water.
big, it may take two,
Two.
but, Coke spill, one pad's plenty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the point is that even if it takes 3 pads, it's a heck of a lot more effective than wiping it up with that, then going back and cleaning the mop out, doing all that, coming back to the thing. You take 1 or 2 pads, you clean up that spill, you throw a new pad on, and you keep going. You didn't have to make any trips anywhere, and that's the benefit. The other great thing is, who has to carry like scrub brushes and stuff like that with their mops to hit stains and things like that? These paste mops are phenomenal. You just take your foot, you set it on top of it, you do a little whip, and it cleans it right off the floor. If there's finish on the floor, it's going to take that stain up. Dry Coke, Jello, whatever you want. So, any
Pencil
other
marks,
questions?
it takes pencil marks also.
Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal. And microfiber works excellent.
On average, how many of those microfiber pads do you think you would want to have?
Well, it really all depends on how you clean, but like for instance, in Columbia Falls schools, we had 30 pads for each custodian, and then they rotate. They usually will use like 15 one night, those go into the wash, they use the clean 15 the next night, then they get the 15 back, and they just rotate them. If you can afford to get more, I would get more and run like a 3-day cycle. But I mean, if your budget's limited, is what I do is we go in and we test it out. We have you clean it for the whole day. We find out about how many pads you need. We double that. Then you can have them laundered, or you can just take these because they wash out extremely well. Like for the classrooms, cleaning classrooms and stuff, the Whitefish custodians, they just spray them out with their hose, hang them up, and then use them again the next day. If they're a little wet, it doesn't matter. They're going to get wet anyway. So if they're a little damp, it's no big deal. And if you're cleaning a classroom, you're not cleaning up a bathroom. Bathrooms, you want to wash them after every use. But in classrooms and stuff, you can usually just rinse them out, use them again, then wash them maybe once a week or twice a week, depending on your preference. It's really how clean you want your building.
In a washing machine, right?
In a washing machine, yep, residential washing machine or commercial. In all of our microfiber, we use a little bit of detergent, no fabric softener, no bleach. And we've got washing instructions that we laminate and print off for you, so you can paste them right by your washing machine, so that you make sure that they're washed effectively and they're not washed inappropriately. So, as you can see, I'm pretty detail-oriented. You're going to be taken care of on that side of it. Any other questions?
How many pads per pad?
10 pads per pack, and the pads run about a little over $6 a piece, and they're guaranteed to wash 500 times. Any other questions? Well, I think we're going to try to throw in a real amount of time here some of the innovations in carpet care. And if you're willing to stick around a little later, you can. We'll be happy to stay around and show some things. If not, you can take off if you need to get going. But I appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot. If you need any more information, it's available, or just contact me.